I am literally the biggest Stitch fan that I know. Now, I said it about Astrobot, but I'll say it again. I liked Stitch before he was cool. I liked him before there was merchandise of him everywhere you go. So, I mean, I know a thing or two about Stitch. I'm just saying. And you don't believe me, huh? Well, I might be one of the problems for the merchandise. Yeah, Stitch is not only my favorite Disney movie, and is not only my favorite Disney character, he is literally my favorite character ever, and Lilo and Stitch is my favorite movie ever. I love that movie so much. So when I heard there was a live action version, I was scared, and I reacted to it on live. Roll the clip. Never gonna see anything from Disney again until they drop more Kingdom Hearts content. Dude, you gotta get off the Kingdom Hearts grind. I haven't even seen him. The little noises Stitch makes make me hopeful, because I hear him giggling in the background and stuff, and it makes me smile because I love Stitch so much.
Stitch language. Now is as good a time as any to announce that live-action Lilo and Stitch is coming to theaters summer 2025.
He's kind of cute when he's sitting down. If his colors were closer to the colors of the movie, the cartoon movie, I feel like I wouldn't not like it as much as I do. Oh man, I'm so sad. I hope it's good. Oh, I hope it's good. I don't know what it was. I don't know really why I hated it so much. I think it was mainly the color of Stitch in that specific video. He looked more purple than blue, and that just really made me angry. I just wasn't used to it. His emotions weren't quite right in that teaser. I don't really know. Just didn't like it. Hated it. And I'm one of those people that really does not like live action remakes. So when you try to make one of my favorite movie and my favorite character, it's gonna get a little dicey. So I naturally just hated on it for a couple months, as anyone does, and eventually a teaser came out, and I was getting scared because I was starting to like this version of Stitch.
That's cute and fluffy. No, I'm gonna give you to the count of 3, Stitch.
Bro.
1.
Oh, come on, Stitch. Oh, that's cute. Oh. Okay, there was a part of me that found him cute, and it just kind of got worse from there, and I got worried because I didn't want to like the live action Stitch. I didn't want to. But over time, as the teasers came out, and there were short clips from the movie or of just him doing stuff, I couldn't help it. I started to like the live action Stitch. He started growing on me. Just the design in general, and eventually there was like little robots of him or whatever, like in popcorn buckets or driving around in cars and pranking people, and I'm like, this is a great marketing campaign. It was getting very close to the time where I was gonna go see the movie, but reviews were already pouring out, and I've seen I haven't watched any of them, but I've scrolled past the thumbnails and titles, and I've seen some that say it's pretty good, and I'm like, yay, it's actually pretty decent. And then I scroll past more, and I see it's a remake travesty. It's the worst ever. And I'm like, oh no, what am I getting myself into? And the quicker the days go by, the more I see those bad reviews, and I get nervous. And when it was time to go to the theater, I got out of my Stitch pajama pants and jumped into my Stitch shirt and Stitch hoodie, and off I went. We drove down to the theater Memorial Day, Monday, and we sat down. I took a picture in front of the poster and everything. We sat down in our seats, and I watched the movie. On the ride back after the movie, I wrote down a few notes so I knew what to talk about, and I haven't. It's been a couple days now. It's Tuesday now, and we watched it on. No, it's Wednesday now, and we watched it on Monday. So I've had a little time to think about it. I wasn't joking, by the way. This is my list of notes that I have to talk about. So, all right, let's get to the actual review. I was actually a fan of the portrayal of Stitch and Lilo's dynamic. I thought it was pretty good. They seemed to be a lot closer than they were in the original. Don't get me wrong. Again, I love the original so much. My literal favorite movie. But I do think the dynamic of Stitch and Lilo is done a little bit better in this version. They seem a little closer. They bond easier. And since Lilo was rewritten a little bit to be more mischievous, it makes more sense because they got off on a good start because they were being mischievous together. And I think that was written pretty well. I, of course, appreciated more screen time for Stitch's antics. That's one of the things I wanted the most with this, was having a few more scenes of Stitch just doing stuff we didn't see in the original, just causing chaos and stuff. And we got that. I've seen a lot of people mad that it's longer than the original, but like a lot of that was dedicated to Stitch just doing his own thing, causing mischief and all that, and I really appreciated it. That's something I really wanted. One of the things I actually really liked about the original was the backstory between Lilo and Nani, and how their parents passed away. And it's never really brought up all that much. It's more an under it's like a message that they're keeping down, but it's still obviously present. And it's more portrayed with Lilo's picture of them and Stitch joining the family and all that. But in this version, it's a lot more prominent. They talk about it a lot more. Nani at one point gets very angry, emotional, and just kind of like says a pretty hard-hitting line. Again, I'll say it. This is a spoiler-free review. I'm gonna do the spoilers at the very end, and I'll give another warning when they show up, so you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, I feel like that was done better, as well as Nani's struggles were portrayed a lot better, in my opinion. Pleakley was good. I liked Pleakley. I don't really have any notes for Pleakley. He's more or less the same. He's better in the original, I'll just say that. But I have mixed feelings about the neighbor character. There's a new character in this one that is basically Nani's neighbor and is Lilo's babysitter at some points. But I'm mixed about her because on one hand, we'll talk about it later, but it has to do with the ending, so we'll get to that later. I didn't really like that she was helping Nani as much, because one of the big things in the original was that Nani was alone in everything she was doing, and it made everything so much harder on her. But she now just has a babysitter for Lilo, and Nani is gone a lot of the time, and the babysitter's just with Lilo instead. And that kind of took it away from me for a little bit. I wasn't a fan of that. Music stays faithful. Plenty of Elvis music. It's great. This movie, I've seen very many people say it's very different from the original. And in some ways, I don't think that's a bad thing. Obviously, the original is better. I knew that before even going into the theater, and I know that now. Original, can't beat it. Literally my favorite movie. But I like some of the changes they did. Some of the changes completely don't make any sense, and we'll get there in a minute. But some of the changes I do actually like. Okay, let's get into some of the stuff I don't like. Let's get into the negatives. Jumba, I pretty much did not like at all. I don't really like any of his character. Obviously, his design was going to be a little gross. Like, that's just Jumba. So I don't really have anything to say about that. That was just going to happen. But I didn't like his character at all. Like, his voice did not fit him in the slightest. In this movie, he has just an American accent when he's supposed to have a Russian accent, and I was just kind of stunned in the theater, like, where's his voice? Why does he sound like this random 25-year-old? Like, stop. No, I didn't like that at all. And another big thing was Gontu isn't in this movie at all either. Gontu is just gone, and I don't know why, but because of that, Jumba is now the main villain. Obviously, if you've seen the original, I guess technically spoilers if you haven't seen the original, but Jumba turns good at the end. Jumba and Pleakley turn good, and they stay with Stitch and Lilo on Earth. But Jumba is just like the villain now, and that feels so out of character. Like, this isn't the Jumba I know and love. I don't know what they did with my boy Jumba, or Gontu. Where'd Gontu go? Another thing I hate is how they got Stitch. In the original, Lilo sees Stitch flying through the sky, thinks it's a shooting star, so she makes a wish. Nani peeks through the door and listens in, and she's like, "Oh, she wants a friend, so let's go get her a friend." And then the next day, they're at the pet shelter, and that's how they get Stitch. Very simple, easy to follow, makes perfect sense. In the new one, in this one, it starts out the same way. Lilo sees Stitch crashing. She thinks it's a shooting star. She makes a wish, wishes for a friend. Nani peeks through the door. "Aw, she wants a friend." And then nothing else comes out of that. She doesn't do anything. She's gone the next scene, and Lilo's just out with the neighbor as the babysitter, I guess. And she's at this animal shelter. Well, no, they're not at the animal shelter. Lilo sees the animal shelter, and she's like, "Oh, can I go?" And the neighbor's like, "Yeah, sure, why not? You go for it, youngins these days." And Lilo goes in there, sees Stitch, just kind of brings Stitch with them. And now this neighbor's like, "Oh, he found a dog? Look at that. All right, I guess Nani's going to be real happy about this one." What is this? What is this? What's the point in Nani going, like, looking through the door just for her to not get Stitch for Lilo at all? She has nothing to do with it at all. And it doesn't make any sense. And what kind of neighbor gets this kid a dog for their neighbor? Another thing I didn't like was Bubbles. They butchered my boy Bubbles. Like, he's not scary in the slightest. He's not intimidating. And he's not even a social worker. Actually, he's just a CIA agent. And the last thing I have to say before spoilers is that, I guess it's technically spoilers. It's not really spoilers. Stitch never goes back into his alien form. The form where he's got, like, the extra set of arms and the antenna and the spikes on his back. Once he goes into his cute little dog form, he never goes back into that form. In the original, he went back into it, showed Lilo who he really is, and he stayed like that for most of the rescue part of the movie. Like at the end, like the last 20 minutes, he stayed like that. And that was like a hidden message of, you don't have to hide yourself around family. Be yourself, that kind of thing. In this one, once he goes into his little dog form, he stays like that the entire movie. He doesn't actually reveal that he's got all these extra parts. Everyone just at the end is like, "Oh, guess you got this alien dog now." Even though he never shows his actual alien form, which, by the way, I think the alien form's even better than the Stitch most of you know. I just think he's a lot cooler that way. But yeah, he never goes back into it, and I feel like that kind of gets rid of the message of being yourself around your family. But yeah, with these positives and negatives, I'd say it's pretty even. I like some parts, I don't like some parts. It's pretty evenly split, I would say. But now let's get into the spoiler territory. So if you don't want spoilers, shoo away. Because the ending for this movie is completely different from the original. So different. So instead of Gontu taking Stitch and Lilo, now it's Jumba, because he's the new bad guy. And Yeah, again, it doesn't fit, but you know. So Jumba like takes them in their ship, and Stitch gets kidnapped, and he plans on turning him into 627, and it shows a little slideshow of some of his cousins like Angel and Sparky and stuff like that, and that was really cool. I like that a lot, but they didn't do anything with it. I thought this is gonna be this could be a really cool twist, where if they're gonna do something different, it might as well be cool, right? So if he's turning him into 627, that could be a really cool plot twist that we've never seen before in the movies, at least. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. Or I was thinking he's gonna take his cousins out, and Stitch is gonna have like his main cousins at least in the last part of the movie. And I'm like, that's cool. That sounds pretty cool. I want to see multiple Stitches in this, but they don't do anything with it. Lilo's like, I got you. Stop it, you. And Jumba like falls out of the ship, and that was it. And I was like, oh man, that could have been so cool. Like Stitch obviously will still go back at the end, but why not let him be like 627 for like at least 3 minutes? You know, have like an emotional moment with Lilo or something where she's trying to get him back to normal or something. I think that could have been really cool. But and then to survive, because the plane was crashing, Stitch and Lilo, not the plane, it was like a ship thing, but they jump out into the water, and Stitch can't swim. If you've seen the original, you know that Stitch's one weakness is water. So he's on this little floaty thing because they didn't have time to jump. They just kind of like crashed, but he was floating on one of the little parts, and he saw Lilo sinking into the water, and he's like, I can't let Lilo drown. Lilo's my pal. So Stitch goes down, saves Lilo. Lilo goes up, but he's still holding on to her, right? And like Stitch is at the bottom of the little. It's not really I guess it's technically still an ocean, but it's like a very shallow part. It's not very deep. But like he's holding on because he can't swim, but he's too heavy. And Lilo keeps trying to bring him up with her, but he can't. He's too heavy. So he lets go. So Lilo can live, but he sinks down to the bottom. And eventually, he does get saved. I think Nani drags him up, and they save him. But I'm gonna be honest. When the music started swelling up, and Stitch let go of Lilo's hand to save her, even though he knew he was going to die that way, yes, I cried. I'll be honest, okay? Look, I knew it was Disney. Disney's not going to let Stitch die, okay? I knew that. I knew very well that he was going to survive at the end, but I couldn't help it. Stitch is literally my favorite character ever. And even if they tried to kill him or pretended to, I can't help myself. I did start crying. And I'm not ashamed to admit it, okay? But yeah, he turned out to be fine. Most of it plays out the same until the very, very end, where Stitch is living with them. Jumba gets like brought back up because he's evil, and they're gonna like execute him or something. Pleakley stays. Bubbles is good now. He's like, yeah, I'll watch him, because why not? I don't know. But the very end, instead of the original, they still take Lilo away. They still take Lilo away from Nani, but she goes to the neighbor character. So still perfectly in reason, still a happy ending, but she still gets taken away. And I personally like that. Something I've always wondered in the original is that, like, it's the end. They're fixing the house in the original, but Lilo's still with Nani. There was no repercussions for Nani. Obviously, she's trying her hardest, but she was still supposed to be taken away, but she never was. Everyone just forgot about it, I guess. But in this one, they remembered. They did not forget, and they still took Lilo away. And just for story's sake, I like that. Obviously, I want Nani and Lilo together, but we'll get there in a second. But yeah, I didn't think that was too bad. But yeah, the neighbor character takes her. Pleakley and Bubbles and the neighbor and Lilo are all in like a house together, and Stitch, obviously. And Nani, now that she has most of her stuff off her plate now, She goes back into marine biology. She goes to college, and for some reason, she has one of the portal guns that Jumba had, and so we see her in like a mid credit scene. She portals into Lilo's room, and they just kind of like talk for a little bit, and then Nani, Lilo, and Stitch all just kind of like sleep in a bed together. It's really sweet. It's to show that yes, Lilo did get taken away like she was supposed to, but it's still a happy ending, and Nani still gets to see her as much as she wants to. So, still a good ending. But yeah, that's all my notes. My final verdict: not as good as the original, obviously, but it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. It was decent. It was pretty good. I'll even say I quite liked it. I quite liked it. Maybe it's just because I love Stitch so much. I've seen so many people say they don't like it, but with what we got, it's not too bad. It could have been much worse. Just think about that. It could have been so much worse.